Hey guys, this is the third segment. We're going to talk about Americans building credit. Gonzalo's got a story just on how you can improve your credit while you're looking to buy a house. Obviously, you know the higher your credit is, the lower your rates are going to be. So what was the story you were saying?
No, so every so often you come across a borrower, they've actually a U.S. citizen, and they have one card, for example, a prepaid debit card, and their credit score is like 620. That's not using the U.S. credit system. The USA wants you to use their credit system. So, what the best thing you can actually do is take out 2, 3, maybe even 4 credit cards. Let's say your max limit is $1,000. Just leave it at 3% every month. So go to Best Buy, get some headphones. Let's say the headphones cost you $200. Pay it down. Let's say the limit was $1,000. You're going to leave it at 3%. So you pay it down to $30 balance. If you keep doing that every single month with 2 or 3 different trade lines.
Why bring it down to $30? You hold it for next month? Like you don't pay the full amount?
Exactly. You don't pay it down to 0. So that's a misconception.
Interesting.
Don't pay it down to 0. Leave it at like 3 to 4%. To be honest, I'm not sure the whole back end equation. There's a lot of in and outs within the system that I am not a credit expert, to say the least, but I do know that that's what you need to do to build your credit. So yeah.
That's smart. I didn't think of it because you always think just to kind of pay it off and away you go. So if you kind of leave a little bit of a balance, I guess it's multiplying credit.
And you exactly, and you don't want to close accounts either. If you're in the middle of trying to buy a house or before you buy a house, you close an account. Believe it or not, it's going to actually affect your credit score. Also, during the time of buying that house or refinancing, the bank is going to be notified on anything you pull. So if you go ahead and buy a car for $30,000 during the process of buying a home, and you think you're being slick because I won't see it, The back end people with all their systems and
it'll trigger credit.
Oh
right?
yeah. So right away you'll see it. They'll be like, hey, it looks like you just bought a car, or you went to City Furniture and you spent $10,000. And it's like, oh, I wanted to buy the furniture before I moved in. I'm like, well, now your debt to income went up and you don't qualify. So
it's hilarious. Our client now, the one we just did a deal with this week, so I had the same conversation. I go, you've gotten pre-approved by 3 different lenders. You're good. Just don't spend any money. Don't raise anything. Don't buy a car. Don't buy furniture. It's the exact same thing I said. So just like keep everything cool. You're closing in like 2-3 months. That's it. Just keep it normal, like normal bills. Yeah, because once you do one of those triggers, it offsets everything. Your total debt ratio, right?
And that brings another good point. During the process, let's say you're closing in 10 days and you need $40,000 to close on the house. A lot of people make the mistake and ask a relative, which is fine, to send them money. And now their account has withdrawals and deposits all over the place. The bank is going to want to see where all these funds came from. You have to source it. It's a big headache. So prior to making any moves, the wisest thing you can do when you are buying the house and you need a gift, you wait until the closing day and you get a simple gift letter. And the gift letter says, my brother Tony is gifting me $40,000 and this is happening at the day of closing.
So it brings forward to the title company?
And Tony wires money to the title company at the day of closing.
So you don't do it prior, so it's in your account?
No.
Okay, because you're going to raise concerns. Okay.
And then obviously, the day of closing, the title company is going to call you and say, hey, this is the exact amount cash to close.
That's a good golden nugget there, because think about it. Some people will just say, yeah, give me a gift, I'll put it into my account, but it raises flags, and it has to be in your account like we had in our earlier segment, 60 days prior into that account. So if you do it on the fly, it'll red flag the account, and then what happens? You won't get funded, right?
Yeah, well,
it'll be a fight to get it done.
Essentially, once you get the clear to close, you can move the money around if you want, because they're not going to ask you for further documentation. But the wisest thing to do to limit all of that information.
closing,
Yeah, it's
Because
literally
the bank at that point the bank kind of stays out of it, right? When it goes to the title
exactly
company.
once it's with the title company, the day of closing, the lender.
That's very important. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's something I'm going to remember too in the future. We're doing deals, right? To kind of advise clients prior.
Yeah, the day of closing, the lender wires X dollars and goes to the title company. The title company.
But this is what I'm saying. It's so important. Like you're dealing with professionals, like these little things. Because some people, what I'm dealing with too. Because even foreign nationals or even Americans coming in from like northern states, they want to do everything themselves. If they would go to like the new construction site, like hire us. Like we're gonna be like your offense, your defense, all combined, right? So ultimately, like sales staff in a sales trail or whatever they are, sales home here, they'll be there.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you got us prior to that. So you're going with strategic advice, like what you just said now. Like if you're dealing with someone in a sales center, they're not going to advise, let's say, a buyer going forward with that. Like say, hey, let's get that money on to the title company prior to closing or on closing rather than instead of creating red flags.
Yeah.
So that's really good. I like that.
That's also very true. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go to Wells Fargo or Chase
directly.
directly.
Yeah.
Good luck closing in 30 days. It's going to be a whole show with the seller being like, what's going on? Then when you want to call the bank, they're not picking up, so it's a whole show. They're going to ask you for 1,000 conditions. They're going to question everything. They're going to, ask you for your report card in 3rd grade, and it's a nightmare. So
and they'll kill the deal because there's so many deals coming in.
Over
I had a lot of bad experiences.
in 2 seconds they'll just say, oh, sorry, you got denied.
And once they deny, they never retract. There's no way to get them to retract a denial. It's almost like a court judgment. It's so weird how they won't backtrack or kind of relook at a file. But if some of these files that get denied, like wherever it is, if it's here, like up north or down here, it's just like but you got to relook at everything again because if you look at the numbers, the TDS ratios, everything makes sense. The income's there. This is like a legit file. But once let's just say where you were talking about someone put money in an account or something like that prior, and it kind of raised a few flags. Even though the transaction's supposed to be good or like it should be good, they'll just retract and they'll deny it and never retract. It's so weird. And then now you try to bring it to another big bank or whatever, then they see that it's been denied or there's some process with the FICO score being whatever ran through the system and it raises more flags. So it's like, that's what I'm saying, even for clients, like before you buy anything, like talk to the professionals, honestly, like we're here for you guys. Clearly our commissions are paid by the lender and then we're paid by the builder and stuff like that. So it's not like you're paying directly to us. Obviously it's indirect, but I'm saying they're paying us, not coming out of your own pockets, and you're getting sound advice going forward. Like you're not going to make a mistake. So I think it's very important.
Yep.
I had to learn the hard way. I mean, I dealt with one big bank when early on in my investing. I was like 21 years old buying investment properties. Same thing, right? We went right directly to the bank, and that guy at the bank was, dealing with bank loans or whatever. It's like savings accounts, if it's T-bills, whatever. He's got like a whole package of things. Not like he's specifically dedicated to one process. Like you're dealing more in the mortgages, ELOCs, all that stuff, like more in the lending process rather than someone that kind of manages a branch.
Exactly.
So, I think that I learned the hard way, and this is why when I do deals now, it's usually through, brokers like yourself for sure. It just makes sense.
No, they say it's kind of a myth, but I think it's the truth. A lot of these big banks, they just collect the application fee. Let's say it's $500 application fee. Imagine how many millions or thousands of people that come in. They're like, okay, you have a 680 credit score? No.
Done.
$400 to them though.
Yeah.
That money's not, you can't get that back. So, they want A paper, they want 800 credit score, they want $100,000 in the bank. So if you guys need a different option, Spark has flexibility, and that's essentially what we're doing.
Awesome. Cool. Let's end that segment there. That's awesome. Guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, all our information will be below. We'll talk soon. Ciao.